Hey guys, Paradude here, and I'm going to bring you another video, this time doing a cobra bar, or Solomon bar, some of you guys know it. It's one of the most popular weaves people do when they first start making paracord bracelets, probably the first one that you guys learn. And the whole thing about those is, you have to untie the loops in order to quick deploy it. So I'm going to use my method that I've been using on my other bracelets. And it'll be quick. It's not probably as quick as some of the other ones that I make, but for those of you guys who like the style and like the look of that bracelet, that's what I'll work today. And again, nothing substitutes being able to carry 50 or 60 feet of cord in your backpack, if you really need it in an emergency situation, because bracelets are only going to get you so much cord, and especially with the Cobra, you're probably going to get about 10 feet at the most, and it also depends on your wrist size. And thank you all the subscribers for my channel. I know the Blaze Bar quick deploy has gotten over 500,000 views, which is awesome. I never expected that. So thank everybody that subscribed to me, that's watched the videos, and hopefully I've had some useful bracelets that I've made that you guys can make yourselves and use. And of course, thank you all for all those who supported my store too and have purchased some of those. So what I'm using today is a anchor shackle right here. You can get them at Home Depot, Lowe's, online. I actually sell them on my store, and I actually sell them with the adjuster part too. So and I sell them as a set. So I'll put a link to that as well. And then I have also 12 feet of Coyote Brown paracord that we'll be using today. So let's get started. Alright, so first thing is we need to find, I have 12 feet of cord of the Coyote Brown, and I found the middle of it, so I just made a bite, essentially a loop right here. And we're going to take that loop and we're going to put it right through the middle of the anchor shackle. You guys can see, loop goes through, and I'm going to take the cord through the loop all the way through. And I have this little hook here on my desk, so I'm just going to hook it. So you have a little cow hitch right here. So now, the way that I make this quick deploy is by taking the two strands, and I'm going to make these loops right here. So you see I come from the bottom and I bring the strands up towards me, and this makes essentially two different loops. So one loop on the left and one loop on the right. And then from here I'm going to take my left strand, I'm going to take it around everything. So you guys can see right here. So this left strand will make a big loop around all the cords. It's going to keep going around. You guys can see right there. And then it's going to loop behind everything again, and then you can see it coming through this loop here on the left. I'm going to pull this all the way through. Okay, so and you're left with this. So now I'm going to tighten it all down. And here's your start. So you have a left loop and a right loop. This is going to be your core and what the Cobra bar or Solomon bar is going to be made around. So first step, left strand goes over everything in the middle. Right strand is going to go over, under, and then through the loop on the left. Pull through, and then we tighten down. Now on these, don't tighten too much, because you'll never be able to pull the loops out from the middle when you need to. So really that's the secret, is I'm not tightening up that much. I'm making it rather loose, so it'll actually be a really comfortable bracelet to wear, but I'm pushing each stitch up as I go to make it tight looking. So now, strand on the right, over the two middle, strand on the left, goes over, behind the two middle strands, through the loop on the right, pull through, cinch it down, push up. Now we're back to the beginning on the left. Over the two middle, right strand goes over, underneath the two, through the loop on the left, and we pull through. We tighten down. strand on the right, over the 2 middle, strand on the left, goes over, behind the 2 loops, and then through on the right. Cinch it down. Now look, from here it looks kind of loose, just push up. Everything tightens up. Back to the beginning. Strand on the left, we'll do one more stitch here. Goes over the middle, strand on the right, goes over, behind the 2 middle, and then through the loop. And tighten. Strand on the right, over the 2 middle, strand on the left, over, behind the 2 middle, through the loop, tighten, push up. So I'm going to finish the bracelet, and I'll show you guys how I finish the end, and then I'll show you how it deploys. Alright, and we are back, and you guys can see I have completed the bar all the way till the end, so I got just a little bit of the loops sticking out from here, and I want to show you guys how I finish this. You can just, cut right here and melt them, but again, with how actually loose these loops are, since I've pushed them all up, you wouldn't want them start to go down and then eventually pop off. So I just make essentially 2 slip knots at the end. I'll show you guys how I do that. So I'm going to take the bar off the hook, and right here, so you guys can see, I start with the right side. I'm going to make a loop, just like this. Here's my loop, and the cord is going to go through, and then this is going to tighten down. Sorry if my thumbs are in the way, but this is how I can tighten it on camera here. So we have a slip knot. It's going to go over the 2 loops, and then I'm just going to pull tight. So you should have this right here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the left side. Going to make a loop. Oops. I'm going to do it this way. Sorry if my hands are in the way, guys, but there we go. So make a loop coming around and then behind. Cord goes through, so make another bite right here. And this is going to tighten down. Again, sorry for the thumbs being in the way. And right here, gonna tighten. Again, I'm making slip knots. There's tons of videos, I'm sure, on there on how to make those little 2 knots that I make. And you're left with this, and this is gonna sit more secure. And you could pop these both off, left and then right. And then from here, I would cut on the right, and then just melt, cut on the left, and then melt from there. So essentially, it'll look like this, with the cord missing. Alright, so I found the easiest way to put these shackles on the bracelet is you take the pin out, take the threaded end of the shackle, and you're going to put that through the 2 loops, like so. And then you take the pin, screw it in, and then you can just move the loops, and then boom. Now, it takes a little bit of practice when you're actually putting it on your wrist. But once you have it down, it's really not that bad, and that's why you do need to leave a little bit of room for the loops at the end here, because you don't want to be struggling trying to put this end of the shackle through. So I just undid it, and then now here's where it becomes a quicker deploy from here. So look, you can take the end of the shackle, and I can pull, and you can see how cord starts to come out. And now what you're going to be left with is all these loops. Okay, so again, this is why the Cobra makes, it'll make a decent quick deploy, but not the fastest on some of them. But from here, what you can do now is you're able to undo these loops a little bit quicker than when they're tight around a core like a traditional Cobra bar. So you can see, you do have to sit here and undo them. It really doesn't take too long. I used 12 feet of cord, and you can see the ends of the cord when I made those 2 slip knots. Pretty much was at the end of the cord, so I would say I used about maybe 11.5 feet, and I'm a size 7 wrist, So instead of undoing all these loops, you can see I'm almost at the end. It's really not that bad. And then you would just undo the hitch at the end, so on and so forth. But when I made the 2 big loops, I'm a size 7 wrist, and I made the loops right around 7, maybe 7 1/4, just to give me a little bit of room. I don't like my bracelets too tight as well. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, you can always message me, and I'll put links to my store. I did start my own store. Usually I sell off of Etsy.com. My store is Tactical Black RDS on Etsy, and I also have my own store that I just made a few weeks ago called tbcparacord.com. It stands for Tactical Black Custom Paracord. So again, it's tbcparacord.com, and I'll have that also up for you guys in a link in the description. And if you have any questions, like I said, let me know. Thanks for watching.